next reader is Anna McKeown. She is a fiber artist and a comedian living here in Nashville with her husband and 2 children. In her various artistic practices, she explores her identity as a birthing person, caregiver, and wife through artistic mediums traditionally associated with femininity and domestic craft. This is her second story.
From kindergarten through 8th grade, I attended a private Catholic school in my very small hometown in rural southern Illinois. I had 30 kids in my grade, which up to that point was the largest class size that our school had ever seen. I had so many defining experiences with the same 29 fellow children. First communion, the talk, our first dance, 9/11. We ran the gamut of emotions together. My 8th grade year, we prepared for our confirmation in the Catholic Church together, which is kind of like a coming-of-age ceremony where we all selected a saint who we admired and who represented the ways in which we wanted to live our lives and commit ourselves to God. The ultimate getting to know you personality test. It's like the Enneagram on steroids. At the time, I wanted to be a comedy writer, like all 14-year-old girls do, and my idol was Tina Fey. Since she was, and still is not, and likely never will be, a canonized saint, I selected Teresa of Avila because she was the patron saint of writers. She was actually kind of a boss, and to me, they kind of gave off the same vibe. I watched Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live almost as religiously as I attended Catholic Mass, and in an attempt to understand the jokes, I started watching the evening news. I began to discover that the world was complicated, even more complicated than my tangled family tree. As my world opened a tiny bit more, I thought, we're not the only weird ones. I genuinely enjoyed my time at Our Lady of Mount Carmel School, but knew that my private school experience would come to an end after 8th grade graduation. As my first day of public high school approached, I prepped with the vigor and intensity of a celebrity attending the Met Gala. Up until that point, I had never really picked out an outfit for myself because I had only worn my school uniform of khaki pants and a blue polo shirt. I purchased Tiger Beat, Teen Vogue, and 17 magazine, it was 2005, for my research and found that khaki pants were definitely out and low-rise jeans were definitely in. My grandmother took me shopping for some non-uniform clothes and I felt ready. I woke up at 5:30 a.m. to prepare for the 8:03 bell. My makeup was simple, just a shimmer of opalescent shadow, mascara, and extra shiny light pink lip gloss. My hair was long then, almost down to my butt, and I parted it dramatically off to the side and secured it with a tiny aqua-colored hair bow. The bow matched my silver and aqua chandelier earrings and my aqua-colored graphic tee from Aeropostale. It had 9 cartoon monkeys on it, arranged in a Brady Bunch style pattern. They each had their own square, and they were looking up and down and over at one another, laughing and smiling with their own tiny hair bows. I paired the tiny t-shirt, emphasize it was a tiny t-shirt, with whitewashed low-rise flared jeans, which I accessorized with a chunky aqua-colored belt, which had a giant bedazzled belt buckle that I had clasped off to the side of my waist. And to top it all off, I was wearing ballet flats. What color? Aqua. I looked like a life-size Bratz doll, and I was ready to rule the school. I was really gonna make a splash. I walked nervously into the building, ready to take on the first day of a new adventure, with all of my freshly sharpened pencils and school-issued planner in hand. Immediately upon walking in, I knew that this was going to be nothing like Catholic school. The building was huge and confusing. I got lost on the way to my locker, and when I finally found it, I had to ask another student for help because I had never used a combination lock before. I found my first class and felt determined to make a good impression. The bell rang and the teacher began class saying, "Good morning, I hope you all had a great summer. When I call your name, please say here, and since this is our first class of the semester, please let me know if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly." My first test. This would be easy to pass. He went down the list and I prepared myself for my here. My name was not this name at the time. Anna Purcell. I shout, "Here!" Oh my God, what is wrong with me? Neither of those things are correct. My last name was pronounced Purcell, and up until the first day of freshman year of high school, I had gone by Annabeth. I had never needed to correct anyone on my name before. I had known all the same teachers and students since I was 5 years old. I had no memory of anyone ever asking my name in my entire life. I've been Anna ever since. When the bell rang to transfer to second period, I found myself stuck in a group of students rushing through the hallways like a school of fish in a current. They all found their respective classrooms, and I was left alone in the hallway. I hurried through the long, empty space with tears in my eyes, too afraid to make any noise in fear of getting in trouble for the first time in my life. I made it to math class a little late, but there seemed to be a grace period for freshmen. My teacher called roll call, and I decided I had no choice but to commit to my new name of Anna Purcell. And I spent most of the class time studying the school map in the back of our agenda we were given. The bell rang, and I made it to my next class on time, and I felt a sense of accomplishment. I did it. I am on top of this. And it was history class, so I was excited. I sat next to a boy whose name I don't remember. I turned to look at him, and I introduced myself using my shortened name. "Hi, I'm Anna." To which he replied, "Anna, nice to meet you. You look like a dumbass." Excuse me? I said, "You look like a dumbass." And then the morning announcements rolled. I was absolutely gobsmacked, and I sat there with my jaw dropped and my mouth wide open. It was like an episode of Lizzie McGuire. I was like, I was mortified, and I wondered which accessories I should remove first. Was it the earrings? Should I ask him? Why do I care what he thinks? I don't even know who he is. Is he important? Am I important? Do I matter? Who am I? I ate lunch at 10:30 in the morning, and we were not allowed to eat for the rest of the day. I felt hungry and completely overwhelmed. I was thankful to see some of my Catholic school friends in English class. They said, "Hi, Annabeth." "No, it's just Anna now." "Oh, okay." Teenagers are particularly cruel in the way that everything is all at once dramatic and world-ending, but also upsettingly casual. I felt so alone, and I was offended at my friends' inability to see my suffering, or at least ask me about it. But why would they? They have their own first days, first boyfriends, and first humiliations to worry about. As school was dismissed for the day, a fist fight broke out between two students. The two boys clawed and punched each other, attempting to pin the other to the ground. They wrestled together as blood spattered against the pale concrete of the school's entrance. The principal ran to the boys, pulled them apart, and slammed both of them to the ground. The world opened wide open to me then. My family, we aren't the only ones with problems. As I saw my mother's car drive into the parking lot, I ran to it at full speed. I jumped into the car and I began sobbing. I told her everything. We drove home, and she sat in the rocking chair in the living room. This was the rocking chair that she had soothed all of her children to sleep in. Her 5 children from 3 different men. We were all still her babies. She called me over to her, and I sat in her lap. My mother is a tiny 4'10" woman, and even at age 14, I was giant in comparison. She began rocking the chair, and she stroked my hair and sang a song. I cried softly and relished this moment. My mother, who at the time was often absorbed in her own romantic dramas, was holding me like her child, because I was, and I still am, her child. Our relationship is complicated, but there are some things that never change.